Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Tony.
And I'm Sam. And in today's video, we will be discussing the next step after your wedding during your K1 journey.
Before we get into that, I just want to say a big thank you to our subscribers and also thank you to our silent watchers. Go ahead and press that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your post notification bell so whenever we do an upload, you will be notified.
So, guys, now it's time for the second half of your K1 journey. So, now that you've gotten married, and I assume that you have gotten married within the required time frame, which is 90 days, and you have received your marriage certificate, it's time to file your adjustment of status.
What is adjustment of status? Adjustment of status is the process of obtaining your green card. Now, this upgrades your status from an immigrant to a permanent resident.
So you have three options when filing your adjustment of status. The first option would be to get a lawyer, which can be a bit expensive. And then the second option is to get a preparer. That's someone who specializes in immigration paperwork or immigration applications, and that might be less expensive than if you were to get a lawyer. And again, it depends on your situation. You would have to decide if getting a lawyer or a preparer is better for you. And then the third option, which is the least expensive, would be to do it yourself. So you can choose to fill out all the forms and applications on your own and then submit it by mailing it to the USCIS. So guys, whether you use a lawyer or you use a preparer or you decide to do it yourself, there's always a chance that you might have some hiccups along the way. In our case, we did use a preparer, and even with that, we were rejected about 3 times. So don't be intimidated to do the applications on your own if that is what is best for you. So I know when you hear the word rejection, it sounds like it's the end of the world, but it's really not. Once it says rejection, you are rejected or rejection, it simply means, and they're giving you the option to correct whatever the error is and resubmit. So once it's a rejection, just remember that there is still hope for that. Okay, when you should start panicking is probably if you get a denial, so that you would have to appeal that decision. But once it's a rejection, they normally give you the option to correct what it is and resubmit. So the first rejection we received was due to the priority date. So the rejection notice stated that they were unable to establish a priority date for us. And that was very confusing to us because we've never heard of that before. So this could be beneficial to someone who might be going through the same thing. So when it comes to the K1 visa, when you receive your notice of action letter, it has a section on it that states the priority date. However, that section is blank. Normally there's a priority date stated in there if it were another type of petition, but for the K1 visa petition, they don't normally put a priority date in that slot. So that's where the confusion came in for us. We were left trying to figure out what is it they were saying, because they're saying to us they were unable to establish a priority date. So we're thinking it's something they were unable to do. And if it's something you're unable to do, how do we, the petitioner, go about and adjusting that? And so we were very confused about that. We tried to fix it as best and we resubmitted it. And of course, they sent it back with another rejection because, of course, we didn't understand what it was. It's very important to kind of read. If you have to do so multiple times to get the understanding, that's fine. But the answer was kind of right in our faces. They wanted a priority date, but we didn't understand that we were supposed to provide the priority date because they were saying they were unable to establish a priority date. So when I did a little bit of research, I realized that the priority date, we were supposed to use the receipt date on the NOA, which is the notice of action, and that is of course on the top, I think, right hand or left hand side of your notice of action receipt. So again, the priority date would be your receipt date. So once we sent in or resubmitted the petition, it took another few weeks, and then they did send us another rejection notice, and this time it was due to a blank space or leaving a question blank or unanswered. So this goes to say that when you are filling out your application, please do not leave any empty spaces or any questions unanswered. If something does not apply to you, it's best for you to use NA, which is not applicable. So if it doesn't apply to you, please use not applicable, but do not leave any empty spaces because it's a possibility it's a question that they might reject your petition for. So once we made the corrections, we went ahead and resubmitted, and guys, can you believe, again, we got another rejection notice. So this rejection was due to incorrect payment or fee. In previous years, the USCIS accepted one payment for concurrent filing. And concurrent filing is when you are able to submit multiple applications in one filing or in one setting. So for example, you would do your application for the I-130, the I-485, the I-785, and the I-131. So you're able to send all those applications at once, and it would only cost you one fee. But in recent times, now with concurrent filing, you have to pay a fee for each application, and the fees should be in the same form of payment. So for example, if you're using a cashier's check for one application, then that should be the form of payment for all the applications you will be submitting. If you're using money order, then the same thing applies. So again, if you are doing concurrent filing, you definitely would need to submit payment for each application. So once we corrected everything, the petition was accepted, but in the same instance, guys, once we resubmitted and they accepted the petition, we assumed everything was going fine, but within the same breath of accepting the petition, they sent us a RFE.
I know, guys. You're supposed to be asking yourself, what the hell is RFE? You're just requesting more evidence. That's it.
Yes, so in our case, they were requesting a bit more information, and so in the notice, they let us know that there's a form that we can fill out in order to sending that information that they were requiring. And we did fill that form by ourselves, even though we had a preparer, but we decided to do it ourselves and resubmit the and send that in. Um, it's best whenever you get a RFE or a rejection that you move at it as soon as possible, because you know for each RFE or each rejection it delays your process, right? So you want to make sure that as soon as you receive it, you go ahead and get all the necessary do all the necessary corrections that you need to do and resubmit, so that you know you're still within a timely manner. So once we submitted everything at this point, then is you just have to wait for processing. All right. So that's basically it for the adjustment of status. But we'll definitely do another video with of more details in how to go about to file your adjustment status. Also, the forms that you would need to fill out and the evidence that you'll need to gather in order to submit your adjustment of status petition. So thank you for watching, guys. I hope this was very helpful to you, and we'll definitely see you next time.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.